Cocaine Bear and other shenanigans. I got nothing.
Me neither. There it is. There's the old clapperoo. Let's do it.
Clap on, clap off. The
This is the okayest hunter podcast. Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer. It's your tag, you hunt how you want. This is okayest hunter.
Welcome back to the okayest hunter podcast. We took a week off last week, and I feel a little out of touch trying to get my bearings here, but good to be back in the studio, Greg.
Yeah.
Especially with you, big guy. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, nod, nod.
We kept you in the loop on our way to Iowa as much as we could.
Yeah, man. We had plenty of conversation in the 5-hour ride it took for you to get there from here.
Yeah.
So that's a hell of a drive. How'd that show go?
It was a lot of fun. Iowans, is that how you would say it? Iowanians love their bush latte. They only serve tall boys there.
Well, you fit right in.
So, yeah, it was kind of cool. The booth setup went smooth thanks to you. I mean, it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work regardless. I mean, but when putting that thing together, I try to keep in mind that it needs to go up quick and smooth. Realize that things don't always go quick and smooth, but I did my best.
Yeah, you did. Your best was really good because we got a ton of compliments on it, and we gave you all the credit. We took very little, if none, because you did it, man. You put that thing together and trusted us to get together on the other end there.
Well, I did wear out one Sharpie trying to put directions and arrows and numbers and everything, so I think you did fine.
No, it's fun. It was a good show. We got to meet people, see people we knew, catch up with folks. We went through a whole bottle of Drop Tine spirits, bringing people into the booth.
Imagine that.
Derek almost sold out of, I think, all but one or two of his Fred Bear drawings.
That's awesome.
We sold out of our Beer Camp Bush Light hoodie because, like I said,
of course,
Iowans love their Bush Light. Every deer anyone shared with us on their trail camera that they got was like a 160 or bigger. I don't think I saw anything on
Giants.
Yeah, like 160 is like a dink there, apparently.
Yeah.
So we were the only ones there with a 6-inch antler. The whole freaking show. We stood out like a sore thumb, maybe. But
that's
it was,
perfect.
It was good.
Then the plan worked.
Yeah. No, it was a good time. I enjoyed it. It was good. It was a lot, though. And we're gonna do it again in a couple weeks in the Dells, but that'll be easier. It's not as long of a drive.
Right. I
also learned that my truck, the little V6 EcoBoost, is the little engine that could. It went through a lot of gas trying to get up and down all the slow slopes there.
You were pulling a pretty heavy trailer too, so
yeah, there's a lot of weight on that thing. But no, overall good stuff, man. And we'll roll right into this here. We got it's just like I said, it's been a minute here. So shout out to our presenting sponsor, Half Rack.
Half Rack.
Yeah. Turkey season is coming up, so I highly recommend getting over to half-rack.com website using code OHP to check out. You're going to get 15% off. I believe it's 15% off. I don't know why I can never remember the percentage codes, folks. I apologize for that. But, good friends of those guys. They got some turkey products that are like accessories that will help you with your turkey hunt. I think that's going to be the most relevant thing.
The bucket seat.
They have I could just go to
a little folding chair. They've got some stuff. Yeah, they certainly do.
The snack bag is pretty popular.
There you go.
Keep your trail mix in there, whatever you got. I think we did a post a while back about deer snacks, and we have like a blog post. And it's just like this long running list, but we curated it from a social post to see what people's favorite snacks were. So there's a lot of things that can hold. And if you head over to our YouTube channel, and if you're subscribed there, you can see Half Rack as our presenting sponsor for our YouTube channel as well for our, we'll see how it goes show. I'm short on breath. I have some sort of weird, terribly dry cough that serves like no point in my life.
Just won't go away.
Yeah, I can't get rid of it. I've had it since last week. So I'm going to try not to cough into the mic a bunch. Anywho, yeah. Spartan Forge runner-up on the podcasting partnership front. Make sure to check out their app if you haven't already. Turkey season's here, shed hunting season there. You can mark sheds, all sorts of stuff. They just added like a Seek One icon in there, the helicopter drop, because people were accusing Seek One of
Dropping
in giant bugs.
Yeah, it happens.
That's real life, I suppose. Maybe they're just hunting Iowa. That could be it.
That could be it.
No. So yeah, definitely take a look at that. You can use our code, of course. Otherwise, it's free. If you want to just kind of dip your toe in, you can transfer your pins over from off, off-X, whatever it's called. Yeah, that one.
That one.
Mm-hmm.
The big one.
Latitude Outdoors, good friends of ours. Their speed sticks are coming soon. You can pre-order. You can use code OHP. You're going to save some money over there. They've been hiring like crazy, so expect more from them. They're hooking us up and getting our videographer Jason to a saddle next year, because
that'll be great.
We had some learnings about having a videographer with us for the first time. Putting him on the ground and putting me in a tree isn't a great choice.
A videographer works best out of his own set, and
a saddle.
A saddle would be perfect for him.
Probably even better.
You bet.
Lots of room there. Method Archery, we're going to go to those guys, to their shop on March 19th for a setup. They're going to help me set up the new bear bow that I got sitting behind Greg over there, and get some new arrows rolling. So we're going to all take a trip, a little, what do you want to call it? A little field trip down there?
A little field trip.
We'll help show off how their arrows are made from start to finish, soup to nut, and get ourselves set up with their new stuff. So their brand name change, Method Archery, check them out, and use code OHP over there as well. And Go Wild is a great place to get good, clean content in the outdoor space. I say clean because there's just no drama over there.
No, not at all.
It's a very...
and if people don't like you, they don't follow you, or they don't comment, or they just leave you alone and move on to the next thing.
It's like a social platform where everyone keeps their gloves on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I don't know how they keep it to be such a clean community, but it is a clean community, and it's very refreshing for that reason. So the more you go over there and post, whether it's a trophy, a fish, a shed, logging time outdoors, logging time listening to podcasts, whatever it is you're doing on that platform, and you're adding activity to it that you're doing, you're going to earn points. Those points are converted into a monetized or monetary discount. So you can save some pretty good change on buying stuff over there, because you can also buy stuff over there. So you can use code OHP over there as well. Code OHP, you get code OHP, you get code OHP, we all get code OHP. So there's that.
Nice.
It is nice. I think this is looking good, right? We're not glitching out over here.
Not too bad.
Do you see a lot of glitching happen?
No.
I think it looks okay.
Looks good.
I'm concerned about it, but I think it's fine.
Don't look at the screen.
You just look at me. Look at me.
Look at me.
Don't look down.
Look at me. Don't look down. Don't look left. Don't look right. Look at me.
Put the phone number on the screen. We do have our phone lines open, so if you wanted to get into the queue, you certainly can. Let me get that displayed here. Where is it? I don't even know. Call. There it is. You can call 262-757-4122. It's just Greg and I today. We don't have a guest, and I don't even know they have a topic. I put in the title Cocaine Bear and Other Shenanigans because there's this movie that came out recently. I think it's in theaters right now.
Could be.
I'm not sure if it's like, the level of cheesiness of like snakes on a plane.
It sure looks that way.
But it's based on an actual bear that did find cocaine from a drug mule situation.
Is this where we've come to now? I mean, we're out of ideas, so we just pick the stupidest damn thing we can make a movie about and try to make it a thing.
Probably.
And it'll be like a cult classic, and I do mean cult. And that'll be it. It'll be a flash in the pan and gone.
It might be. It's definitely not gonna be like Reverend, or whatever that movie was called, where you got attacked by the bear.
Right.
That was a good movie, kinda. It was pretty long and drawn out, but I think that was based on some true events too. But
it was.
This bear apparently found like a duffel bag of cocaine from like a drug run. I don't know if it fell out of a plane or what. And then the bear got into it.
Fell out of the plane with the snakes.
and then it ate the cocaine and died. That's what happened in real life. So you feel sad for the bear, right? Our drug problem in this country has killed
so we
bear.
had to take and make that into a bigger deal. We had to tweak the story a little bit.
Oh yeah, now it's like basically the bear is getting revenge. It's almost like it's a revenge story. Instead of the bear dying, it's now, hopped up on cocaine. It's got a cocaine addiction and it's killing people or something like that. So I don't know. It's pretty interesting. plot line. But PETA thanked the producer because they didn't use a real bear and the movie was all CG. So I found that to be fascinating and weird and interesting. Like, I don't know how that came into this conversation, other than I just looked into it a little bit because I just heard about this the other day, and I was like, "What is this?" I keep hearing about this cocaine bear. What's going on? And so guess what Derek did in Iowa also?
What do you do?
Well, he didn't do cocaine. Let me just be very clear.
Thank God for that.
He was like trading like access to deer hunting in potential reciprocity for bear hunting.
Nice.
So apparently the Iowans, I'm still not saying that correctly, probably are really potentially into bear hunting. So if you can offer a bear hunt, you might get access to some like really nice
Nothing
Iowa
wrong with
land.
that.
So I thought that was kind of funny. So
That's awesome.
And when is bear hunting? Is there a spring bear?
No, not in our state. It's fall. You want a spring bear tag, you can honestly go hit up some of the western states. Montana, I know for a fact, is real easy to get an over-the-counter bear permit as an out-of-stater. Like, they have plenty of bears, and they want people to come and hunt them. So,
Interesting.
yeah, that's a pretty easy tag to go get.
Is there anybody in our audience? There's a lot of comments coming through. Evan, hey, happy to see the crew back in studio. Robert Diaz, I'm here. Facebook user. I'm gonna pistol up the next guy that says Shenanigans. Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, very nice.
Hey Farva, what's that place you like to eat?
Yeah, moving all the goofy shit on the wall.
Funny how we don't see a Pierre Michigan Deer Classic, says Robert Diaz. Yeah, there's Iowa, Illinois. I mean, these things are fairly regional. I think the one that we're going to, the open season, that's
Michigan's got their own set of shows. I mean, they've got a bunch of shows, and I'm sure there's one or two we could make in Michigan. And PA, I mean, they have that real big one that goes a full week.
The Great American Outdoors.
The Great American Outdoors. Yeah.
That one's really long.
That's really long, and I don't know if it'd even be worth our time at this point.
Well, I don't have that kind of time.
No.
And it's more than, like, I think
that's vacation off of work to go do that.
That's tough. That's tough to do.
That's a different league of people in the industry.
Alex Romano says, what's up, fellas? What's up? Adam Kaufman, the EcoBoost does not like a load. Trust me, he says. Put on screen here. Who else we got? Oak Tree Dreams. Drew says, what's up, guys? Someone said turkey talk. We were damn ready and pumping dirty hens calls out.
Yeah, that'd be Drew.
It's good to go. And Frida Prahl, who is also Adam Kaufman's checking from the truck, driving back from Montana. Eager to listen to the Shenanigans. Denton listened to 3 of your podcasts today. Wow, thank you. And Brad Luttrell says, heard y'all talking about Cocaine Bear. Had to see what's up. Of course, that's what draws Brad in.
Well, Brad likes bears.
Brad likes bears.
Brad likes bears and bear hunting. Brad,
he did do a bear hunt. Didn't he do a bear hunt?
I'm
with
sure he did.
The Houndsman XP? Was it a bear hunt that you did, Brad, or was it something else?
Brad, you should call in.
Why don't you call into the show? The number's on the screen. Oh, no, it's off. I took it off on accident.
Way to go.
Where is it? Here it is. All right, it's 262-757-4122. Let's get some callers in the queue. Let's hear what you got going on about bears, turkeys,
bears,
deer,
and cocaine.
And let's leave the cocaine out of the conversation unless it's about the bear.
Which it won't be.
No, it's going to be a freaking weird episode, but I'm sure that movie is going to have some people watching, like, because it's based on a true story, because of the title.
It's going to be
I'm going to watch it when it comes out.
Tiger King.
Like, I'm not going to go to the theater to see it, but like if it makes its way onto like Amazon Prime or something like that, I'll probably rent it and watch it late night and be like, why did I watch that?
Yep. Exactly.
We'll talk about it again in 6 months and be like, oh, they're talking about that shit again? Yeah.
Yeah.
You did some deer scouting the other day. You checked some trail cams. Why don't you talk about that?
Well, I pulled a trail cam, which was soaking for all of September, and it quit taking pictures in November. So I got quite a few pictures on it. And
of deer.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Not cocaine bears.
Not cocaine bears. Not bears. Not cocaine runners. None of that stuff. You all right?
Yeah, I'm just coughing.
I saw you lift a little bit. You coughing shart?
Nope, no sharting yet.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, I went out with the intent of going to pull that camera, did that, and scouted around the area to see what I missed because I did not hunt that area. I just dropped the camera just to see what was going on in there because some things had changed with that part of the property, and I wanted to see how the deer were going to use it. So, what kind of camera? It was an Exodus Trek camera. to be exact.
Is that a newer one, older one?
No, that's one of their older budget cams. It was like the $100 cam that they had. It takes great pictures. It does decent video, but it takes it in a different file form, and you gotta take some jacking around to make it work on some platforms. But great, solid camera. Like I've had zero issues with it, other than when it needed an update on the firmware when it was acting and doing some weird stuff. Um, Call Exodus. It's a shameless plug for them. They they talked me through how to do it. It was a basic firmware upgrade that you got right off their website. You loaded an SD card into your SD slot of your uh, laptop. You ripped down the file onto the SD card and loaded it into the camera and followed the protocol that they gave right on the website, and good to go. And that's how it's been for all their cameras that I've gotten. So
It's good to go. Robert says
Yeah.
he was a little disappointed this go around with the same camera you're talking about. So I wonder if it was like a firmware thing or something. I know cameras.
if you've not updated the firmware within the last couple of years, you need to, because more than likely that is you're going to be your issue.
Hmm.
And if you have any kind of questions, I'm telling you right now, do not hesitate to reach out to them through an email or through social media. They're very active on Instagram. They're pretty active on Facebook. Some way, shape, or form, someone will talk to you. I guarantee it. And if they don't, you got to be hitting the wrong place.
Yeah, he said he updated it, but yeah, reach out to the customer service. We're good friends with those guys over there. They're not like a official sponsor or anything like that, but Greg
No.
uses their product, and I know those folks. They have a pretty strong customer service, from what I understand. David Norwakowski, who we saw at the show, says just relaxing, listen to you guys, see what kind of shenanigans ensue. Well, we're only on bourbon 1, so the shenanigans are
I think
little
you might have
quiet right
you
now.
might have overpromised, and we're going to underdeliver on the shenanigans.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if any people start calling in, it could pick up pretty quick, as long as we don't get any pranksters. But with SD cards with cameras, I know there's like different types of SD cards or sizing.
Yeah.
These things can be kind of finicky. There's some technicality to understanding like basic things.
And it's going to be, I'm going to be honest with you, it's going to be manufacturer specific. You know, if you run a bunch of Tascos, or if you run a bunch of Exodus, or you run a bunch of whatever brand you like, if you don't go through the fine details and really read through to tell you what type of SD card you need and what that camera can handle,
Mhm.
you're really kind of doing yourself a disservice. So, not to get too techy, but all those little details matter, especially if you want to leave a camera soak for any period of time. Like this camera, I know for a fact was rock solid. It had its firmware updated. I put a good set of batteries in it. I run lithiums in them because I know they're going to be out there in the cold and alkalines will burst. And then you got a camera that's junk, or you're in there scrubbing it.
And lithiums are more expensive.
Oh yeah, they're much more expensive.
Okay, so you gotta. I mean, the more cameras you're running, the more money you're putting into it, because you're buying batteries.
There's a point where you got to go. I need to draw a line. You know, how many cameras can I manage? How many can I afford to run? You know, you need the time to be able to run between them all. I have a fair amount of cameras. I maybe ran half of them this year. I didn't run every single one. You have the fact that, you know, extra SD cards, you got to keep them with. Extra batteries. Every trip out, I always had 2 sets of batteries with. But putting the right batteries in, the right SD card, making sure all the firmware is updated, have your keys for your Python locks if you're running Python locks. I mean, having everything with you, it's going to save you a whole lot of time and headache. I mean, there's nothing worse. Like this camera was a long ways out, and if I would have forgot any of those things, I would have just left it and come back to it another day.
That was a waste.
Yeah, it was a waste.
Yeah.
But no, I was able to go pull it, and yeah, there were some nice bucks on that camera that no idea they were even in that area, because I've hunted that piece of property but never saw any of those. I saw some different ones and had other deer on other cameras on
Got
the
a lot
other
of
side.
deer in your general area.
I
mean, you
do.
seem to pick them up on camera enough, but
Yeah, can never get them close enough to kill them. So
we're bringing our caller. We got a caller.
oh boy, who do we have?
Hey, John, you're live on the OKS Hunter podcast. Thanks for calling in. What do you got going on, bud?
Hey, what's up, guys? Always good to talk to you boys.
Hey,
Sure is.
how's it going up into UPA?
Good. I wanted to call in, and I'm going to age myself here, but you guys are talking about updating firmware and all this stuff with cameras. This is long. When I started, there was no trail cameras. There's trail cameras that any of us ever had were little 35 millimeter cameras in a box that may or may not have been waterproof, and there was a manual trigger mechanism when the deer or whatever walked in front of it. It took a picture, and it was literally a 35 millimeter film in it, right? And have you guys heard of these things?
Oh yeah,
My dad has.
Yep. And so the worst thing was if you put the thing in a bad spot, and a branch started blowing or something like that, and you got a whole roll of film of branch pictures and shit like that. But it's you guys talk about updating firmware and just what I've seen with trail cameras and how far they've come and honestly how much they've helped us become better hunters. So it's pretty cool stuff.
yeah. I mean, from
But
that style of camera, I mean, it's just a different level of being tech savvy. I mean, you had, like you said, you had a couple chances to get that thing set in the right place, and every picture was costing you something in development of film. But you learned how to set the camera in the right place where you weren't going to get a ton of pictures of maybe blowing grass or branches because it really every shot did matter. Where here with an SD card, we can delete it.
Yeah, and you'd go out, you'd take a front roll of film in your pocket out to where your camera was. You'd pull the camera out, put a new roll of film in it, and then you had to go developed. And I mean, it might have been a week and a half, 2 weeks, depending on where you lived and where the store that could develop your film. And
John, your cell service sounds like you're somewhere in a remote location. Meanwhile, people on YouTube are giving you a shit about how you had to develop negatives and you probably had dial-up internet and they're going to town on you in a nice, fun, poking, like a deer camp kind of way.
Uh-huh.
Nothing malicious, but it's a little funny to read the comments.
Yep.
But it's a different world, that's for sure.
So take care, boys.
Thanks.
All right, buddy.
Always good to hear from you.
Yes.
That's one caller.
All right.
Who else is going to call in? Who else is going to ring our line? Call our phone. The phone lines are hot.
No, they're not. They're pretty cold.
They're ready to be hot. Yeah, things have come. Now you have cell cams. We talked about this on the hunting controversy episode, like 3-4 episodes ago, where there's the streaming cams now. Like it's a cell cam, but it just can. That's got a battery life. Like what do you do with that?
Right. That's grounds for solar panel and having a fully charged solar panel when you start, and that's a whole nother topic and ball of wax. And I mean, we can throw the Exodus guys under the bus and say, hey, you want to learn more about what solar panels can do and how they can extend the life of the power source, go check them out. They've got a ton of information on their website, from their blog to their YouTube channel. They're pretty well loaded for bear, and not cocaine bear.
You ever see a bear doing cocaine? You better run. Probably don't have to run too fast. It'd probably just die. But we do have another caller. It's our new buddy David Nowakowski. Hopefully, Dave, I'm saying that right. But we got to spend some time with you down in Iowa at the Deer Classic. How did the ride home go for you, David? You're live.
Ride home was great. Stopped at the IO80 truck stop, had a bite to eat, and made it home about 9:30ish. So I had a good drive home.
Not bad. How far of a drive was it for you?
A little over 4 hours.
That's not too bad. 4 hours is
And it's like,
manageable.
no. And then it was pretty much straight on Interstate 80 till I get close home to home. Then it's up 23 and kind of off into the country over here.
Is that truck stop the big one that everyone keeps talking about?
Yeah, the world's largest truck stop on there by what's it called? It's right there in Iowa. It's right on Interstate 80. You can't miss it.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, we must have missed it, or if I passed, I didn't I didn't catch it. But we definitely had some conversation about the gas station names down there.
Yeah.
In contrast to what we have here.
Had a great time.
Yeah.
Did you come?
Great. It was a great way to end my 1 week vacation. So.
Did you come home with a bunch of unneeded goods?
Yeah. 2 of your Okayest Hunter hoodies. One of your grunt calls. Eric, I showed you that gorgeous mug I got there too.
Yeah, that was a pretty special piece.
That on Go Wild.
That was like a mug made out of horn and antler fused into the horn, and it was like art was etched into it, like a buck. It was really impressive.
Cool.
Yeah, it was I had to get it. I also got some arrows, Maxima XRD arrows. So I'm gonna Saturday morning. I got a bow shop pretty close. I'm gonna bring them in, have them cut down to the size I need, and maybe shoot on the range there for a while. And
cool.
That's a good idea. Get some practice in.
Yeah, you get ahead of schedule.
That's what we're gonna be doing here soon. I've been wanting to shoot my bow in my basement here. So I got a bit of a shooting lane behind the wall in the podcast studio. It's nothing special. It can be 25, 30 feet, but I'm waiting for this new bow to get set up before I can start letting it rip, and I don't see any need in shooting my existing bow. So right now I'm kind of just in between bows.
Right. Yeah, I don't have I got a pretty good yard out by my apartment. So I got a block, I can set it up, and I got a rangefinder out in Indianapolis at their deer, turkey, and waterfowl show. So I've been using that to set myself at different ranges and practice with my bow. And
good. Yeah, that's good. And you're probably getting ready for fishing, I imagine. But that's a different podcast. You have to talk to Greg about that one.
Right. Yeah. Maybe this weekend, and I got some vacation hours still left over, so I'm looking at maybe taking for St. Patrick's weekend off, take that off, and go hit the water and see what I can get.
Cool.
Rock on. Well, thanks for calling in, and thanks for stopping by the booth in Iowa. It was great to meet you in person and great to chat, and we're always happy to have you following along. Thanks a bunch.
Yeah, we appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a great night.
You
too. Yeah. You and I are on the same page, mister. Saying the same stuff at the same time. It's almost like we do this every week.
Almost.
Oh, boy. There's a question here from Oak Tree Dreams. When you guys turkey hunt, do you prefer to run and gun or sit and walk? And
depends on where I'm hunting. The property that I have, it doesn't leave much to run and gun because it's so wide open. So there's only a handful of places. And honestly, I've had success sitting on my butt in one particular area or another and getting birds to commit. When they don't commit, then I got to play the run and gun game and drop down into ditches and belly crawl and throw my shotgun in the water and all the other fun stuff. I have places I can run and gun, but I don't know. It's hitting the easy button, and I don't want to say it's guaranteed, but it's pretty close.
Except for when you bring me.
That was a different property altogether.
Oh, of course it was. Yeah, but I'm the asset that doesn't get the right tag, so it's my fault.
It happens.
I got the leftover stuff. I don't know. I would be happy to run and gun. I don't know. But it sounds like you can be pretty mobile with these birds.
Oh, you can be if you have enough cover. I mean, if you're hunting woods, it's much easier to run and gun than it is wide open fields that have nothing on them with no cover.
Mm-hmm. Evan's joking, I think here, but he says I hunt turkey beds primarily, very aggressive.
Yeah.
You gotta find out where the bearded turkeys are bedding. Once you get in their bedding area, you gotta really make sure that like they don't see you coming. And you gotta play the thermals in the wind right.
Sure. The turkeys will smell you from their beds.
Oh, sorry. So I'm reading another question. I'm also trying to hold back coughing. So Tegan asked if we have any merch left after Iowa. We sure do. We may not have the beer camp hoodies, but we may if we reorder. Those sold out. I think we had 2 left.
That's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, those were really, really, really popular. We totally missed out on that and stocking properly for Iowa. Evan said Oak Tree Dreams. He's talking. There's like a whole conversation happening here on the YouTube thread. There's a lot of people watching on YouTube, more than normal. Missy said, "My how do you say that word? What is that word? Papiopi? Palmito palette blinds are a great cover for my open areas. Do you know what that is?
It's a blind.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen people use that mirror one. What's that called?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. If that's a shadow blind or what that is, but it's interesting. I don't think I would use it for turkeys because if you have it at the wrong angle, it'll reflect sunlight right at them, and they see that shining at them. I don't think they're going to be sticking around for too long.
Yeah, that would look a little odd, huh?
I don't know. I don't hunt from a blind. I mean, I tried deer hunting from a turkey blind, hated it. Most of the time, I'm finding a spot in a fence line and kind of digging in, so to speak. So if it's got some grass in front, that's great because it hides my movement a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
If I have cover to the back and around the sides of me, that's even better. Build a little nest out of some of the brush that's in the area, and don't knock too much grass down. I'm usually in pretty good shape. I can get turkeys to walk right within yards of me.
And are you a mouth call guy, diaphragm,
Yeah,
pot call, all
both.
the above?
I do both because one will make a different tone than the other, and if I've got 2 hen decoys, I can mimic 2 different hens making 2 different sounds, and it makes sense. At least to my.
Can you reach
my
that one
mind.
there? That pot call?
This one right here.
You got it. This one?
That one.
Is this how you use it this side?
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna scratch on it. Slow the cadence a little bit. Speed it up a little bit. You're gonna have to practice.
I can't do that one.
Here.
I have another one of these from Matt somewhere. It's in the trade show stuff.
Yeah.
It's a little tricky, huh?
And someone cracked the slate on it too.
That's how you get some character out of it.
Yeah, something like that.
Denton Hostetter said, my brother was hunting with a mirror blind and he had a turkey come up to him and peck the mirror.
Probably because it saw its reflection. Who's that guy in the mirror?
Hey, you get out of here. Well, so that shows that they're pretty effective. If it's pecking the freaking blind, it's coming right up to you. What do? Just grab by its neck and wring it out right there?
If you want to.
No. Yeah, I don't know. We were talking about trail cams a little bit. We were talking about some of that stuff. There's another topic I did want to kind of touch on here. Oh, I did I won't have to switch gears into that. I'll keep it functionally appropriate as far as conversation. I don't know. The gear one's interesting. You're talking about trail cams. I'm running 0. I put a post out recently about the guy from the Matrix eating the steak, and he's just like, ignorance is bliss. And I don't know. I just don't.
It depends. I mean, for you, like
I don't have an
every year you don't
have an opinion.
It's not that you don't have an opinion. And you also got to be into it, right? Like you got to like messing around with that stuff.
I was into it when I had the one cell cam.
Yeah, but you also had a property that you knew exactly when and where you were going to be hunting, and you don't have that property every time. So it's kind of difficult where you're looking at going, you have one spot, we know where.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you go there, it seems to be getting worse and more traffic in there and less opportunity. So why would you waste running cams when you know 10 other guys are running cams back there and people are messing with the cams?
Well, that's the other thing. Like the people messing with cams is like a pretty big problem on public land. And I know you can set them high and you can bring us.
And I do that. You see how I operate and how I set up my cameras. They're up high. I run python locks.
And you don't have a
run mounts.
big issue with theft, but I'm sure it
No.
still happens. You're thwarting off a number of people by doing some of those things.
Right.
It's a lot of money to stick into a tree out in the woods.
It can be.
And even if you're doing like cheapos, you're gonna buy a bunch of them. I think Derek just said he bought a bunch of Tascos for $20.
Right, $20 a
And-
piece. If someone rips it off, you don't feel so bad, and it takes
Right.
just a good enough picture to know the deer is there. You're not entering photo contests with it, and at the end of the day, you got to assess what exactly you want to do with it. Do you like getting awesome video footage or awesome stills? Then you're going to spend more money. You have to. Do you just want to take inventory? Do you want to just find deer in general? If it takes a good enough picture to know, yep, it's that buck or a buck, fine.
Yeah, trying to just figure out where they're moving in daylight or whatever, or
Mhm.
to like kind of get this get inventory of what's in the area.
Right.
I think using it for hunting pressure is a pretty good idea too, honestly. Like if you just put it at a trailhead, you know that you're not going to see any deer, but you're going to get a good tally of who's on that property when. And you can kind of pattern people to some degree too.
Right.
You might know that property's getting pounded if it's getting all these people coming off the trailhead to go on. You'll know if they're hunting or not, if they're going to have a bow with them or something. I think that's good intel to get. That's the other piece of the puzzle, or the other side of the coin, if you will.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I didn't set any up this year to keep an eye on traffic, but I don't know. I kind of used some of my knowledge of where I know I've seen people hang cameras in the past, and if they're there, I know people are in there. And I also kind of keep an eye and monitor those trails. If the trail's getting beat down, the brush or the grass going into that area where that camera is really getting hammered. It's getting laid down.
Mm-hmm.
I know that guy's in there often, like too often, checking that camera. He's not leaving it alone. So the deer know if I know. They know before I do, and they're adjusting. And you can see that also by the way the deer trails just divert and move.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Evan just said they can't leave cameras overnight on public in Minnesota.
No, Minnesota, they're not allowed to run cameras on public overnight.
Well, then that's crazy. You're essentially, you don't have a trail cam strategy in Minnesota.
No, not on public.
How do they police that?
Evan, I know, has found cameras out in the middle of public.
I'm sure. When did that go into effect? Has it always been that way there? I don't know enough about it. There's a lot. There seems not a lot, but there seems to be states that are putting up regulation or putting in regulation around trail cams, cell cams, not allowed to use them and things like that.
Yeah, certain states out west are definitely not using cell cams, and they might even be banning regular trail cams in some cases.
It's weird. I don't get it. I don't get the banning of it. I don't know.
I think you would get it if you would see some of the, like, let's just say, for instance, a popular elk destination where there's a lot of guiding going on.
Okay.
And there's a water source. Well, water sources in the mountainous states are like gold, especially in the summer months. It's going to draw all the animals there. Well, if 10 guides are guiding that unit and they want to take inventory to be able to put customers on quality bulls or bucks or whatever, they're all setting them up on water holes. Well, you come to a water hole and there's cameras all around it. I mean, what good is that doing? I mean, if I'm a guide trying to do that, am I going to use that for inventory? Possibly, but I'm also going to wonder how many other guys are doing it by counting up the cameras and just seeing how many people show up on that trail camera that I set. But then too, they're screwing each other over by smashing others' cameras and just really beating the heck out of that area.
So just kind of taking them out of the equation, so to speak, is
go out and hunt instead of just hunting a picture. And you know as well as I do, pictures don't. They tell you a deer or an animal's there, but it doesn't kill them for you.
So
unless you're that good with your cameras.
Well, yeah, and I don't know. I think there's guys that run 100 cameras and several properties. I think it's like when I ran one cell cam, the dopamine that I got off of that thing. I mean, that notification from that cell cam became not that I was like ready to go out and hunt it at any given point in time, but just seeing what was out there was just generally exciting to see.
So it was Cocaine Bear good.
Is Cocaine Bear good? Man, no, I just enjoyed I did enjoy it, and I liked it, but I wasn't certainly hunting like the picture, so to speak, but I knew who was hunting the property where, so I kind of had my slice of the property. It was a conservancy property. It was only supposed to have limited access, although I think that got thrown out the window because people saw it on like on X or wherever and Spartan Forge and so forth, and just thought it was public
Yeah.
because it was listed that way. But yeah, seeing that stuff was exciting. But last year I didn't run anything, and because I didn't have that type of access, and I didn't know where I was going to be hunting for anything.
Yeah, I
And,
mean, you had last minute access essentially. Yeah, go ahead and hunt it, and it paid off.
and if I'm not seeing anything, then I'm less excited to hunt an area. And where I killed my buck that I got, I had no intel. I didn't even see any buck sign really there, so I would just sort of sit it because
Well, we
that's what I
did. I
had.
mean, I noticed it when I walked in. There was buck sign all over the place in there.
Mm, there's buck sign once you got into some of that stuff, but like,
Well, even up by the road though, there were
yeah,
trees that were all tore up, so you knew one had been passing through there.
yeah. But it would have been like if I didn't get a picture, I'd be like, well, I'm not going to hunt this area, you know. So if you're not getting intel,
Can't always base it on that.
yeah, you can't, right? You can't hunt the picture because it's a lagging effect, and if you're not getting anything, you may not hunt it, but the buck might just be walking behind the camera for all you know. You know, it's just
Well, and clear cut case, going back to what I did on Sunday, went and pulled that camera and didn't know what I would have on there because the batteries were dead and I wasn't going to be able to. I didn't bring a viewer with me to pop my card out and put it in the phone and look. But I thought, I had scouted this last year and there wasn't a whole lot of sign. I'll bet it changed this year. So I took 3 steps past where that camera was hanging, and sure enough, there was a rub right on a tree that was 4 inches around. Took another, I don't know, 60 yards away, and there was a tree out in the middle of nothing, and it was all shredded up.
Hmm.
And then took another walk into another little patch of willows, and every other tree was tore up. And then circled around and found some scrapes, and then made it through the watery stuff and found another bedding area that was dry back then. It's full of water now, but you could tell a buck was probably bedding in it because of the amount of overhead cover
Mhm.
and the entrance and exit trails that were all over in and out of there. It was like
Is
a
this the
hub.
YouTube video you put together that would be
Yep.
we posting
Yep.
soon? Okay.
But you could see inside there must have been 6 or 7 rubs that were all this high, right next to each other. And then like it was kind of open in the middle where the buck could bed and turn around and watch things coming and going with the change of wind. So he always had cover overhead and he always had some sort of cover that he could have somewhat at his
Mhm.
back. And he could hear and see everything, more so hear everything or scent everything that was going around him in that area. Because there was crops to the north, crops to the south, and crops directly upwind. So animals were going across and through that area. It makes sense. But there's even better cover further to the east, further downwind. So that would be his escape route to go in thicker and deeper if he had to.
Sure. Along this sentiment of no trail cams, and I'm not knocking trail cams again. I'm just making it very clear that that's not what I'm doing. I'm just not running any because
It takes effort.
it takes money, time, effort, whatever. I don't have a lot of all of those things, so it is what it is. And I actually really thoroughly enjoyed not running any because of the element of surprise.
Mm-hmm.
That like when we say a shooter buck is in the eye of the beholder. Well, when you have no intel about an area, any buck could be a shooter buck.
Right.
Because that level of excitement is there. Now with trail cams, it could be the same too, because you could have, the buck coming in that you had seen. So you're like, that's the one. And maybe that's really exciting. So it is what it is. But this, excuse me, this element of surprise is interesting. Well, I put a post out on social this morning and asked some random question about like, what would the hunting industry be like? What would hunting be like if there were no antlers? What would that feel like today if that were a thing? And it's obviously a dumb question because it's like saying, what would you do if you won the Powerball?
Right.
First of all, that's actually possible. Deer not having antlers is not possible. There's no world where they're not going to have antlers. So it's a stupid question in the sense that it's not a real thing, and it won't be a real thing. But to think about that, I think it would remove a lot of ego, and it would, like, you put out cell cams or trail cams, and if all you're seeing is just deer, you're like, well, that's a big bodied deer. I want to get that deer. That's a lot of meat.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't look at the antlers. Or maybe you target a doe because you're like, well, it doesn't damn matter, but that one tastes better. and I want the good ones for my freezer. Like the bears don't have, antlers. You're looking for big ones. You can't identify
Sure
the
they do. They're
gender.
called beer.
You can't, like, unless you're using hounds, you're not identifying the gender of that bear. Or if it doesn't have cubs with it, maybe you can make some assumptions. But big bear are dying here. Big bear are great to get, but there's it's an interesting question because I wonder where this industry would be. And I'm using the word industry intentionally when I talk about it this way because if there weren't people and companies rallying around big antlers and taxidermy and sheds and all this stuff, like it would be like pheasant or bear or raccoon or squirrel or rabbit.
And that's where you
You
look at
just
it.
do
and
it to enjoy it.
In those species, what's a big deal? Is it a longer tail feather? Is it a limit?
Bigger ears on a
Big?
rabbit.
I don't know. Maybe.
Ooh, look at the ears on that one.
Yeah.
Look at the cottontail on that bad boy. Look at the balls on that buck.
Right.
But it wouldn't be a
squirrel.
buck. It would just be a male deer.
No. They don't know what to tell you.
I find it to be a very interesting question. Like there would not really be, the trail cams would just be like, well, I'm just catching pictures of wildlife and nature. And that's kind of it. Might be really cool to see a bird swoop down and catch a mouse or something, or see a bobcat fight with a coyote or whatever the hell's going on out in the woods. You'd see deer and you'd be like, meh, that's not as exciting. Or maybe everyone just go moose hunt or something. I don't know. Or elk hunt.
But what if they don't have antlers?
Right, if we just got rid of antlers altogether. If we got rid of it, like it's even not even a thing. But that kind of ties into the trail cam thing. If you're not running any, you're kind of like, it's almost like you're sprucing your hunting life back up again. Maybe like we talk about, leave the phone in the truck. Don't bring don't use the trail cams, and see what that does for your, I don't know, your senses, I guess. It forces you to check in. So I like going to the Boundary Waters. There's no cell service. I actually enjoyed that about the Disney cruise. There's no cell service. It forces you to be present. If you're not thinking there's a big buck coming, you're not going to be as disappointed because, well, there could be, you just don't know it.
Right.
Or if it was just a damn doe, or they're all does, so to speak.
Right.
You're just thinking meat.
Well, that's kind of where I was at this year.
You got a lot of meat.
Yeah, I did. I shot 5 of them, and that's it. I had a full bag.
Not a full bag of cocaine.
Not a full bag of cocaine.
You'll see on the screen in a second, but Doug just said, just got done watching Cocaine Bear. I'm never going into the forest of Colombia. Well, so it's scary, huh? I'd be more afraid of finding the cocaine and getting killed by the drug cartel than I would be maybe a bear.
That's the thing.
See, it's like that movie, No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
They find drugs, he gets it, and then next thing you know, it's like just death everywhere.
Yeah, life goes straight to hell. That was a pretty wild flick.
That was a really weird flick. But it just has not been done that way before, so it was a really weird. I think it won a lot of awards for like the acting. I think Woody Harrelson was in that, wasn't he? So Woody Harrelson, I think he had a part. Didn't he have a part in that?
Yeah, he might have. I don't recall. It's
Am I
been
thinking of a
years.
different one?
It's been.
That's an older movie. That was back on DVD.
Yep.
When those were a thing. We got another caller. Hey, Adam, you're live on the OK Center podcast. Thanks for calling. What's up?
How's it going, gentlemen?
How you doing?
Thanks for calling and keep us on track here. We're just lufting in the wind on topics.
I'm doing good. I was just listening on the old YouTube driving here, but the whole talk about like big antlers, not running trail cameras, not having antlers, it's an interesting topic because I actually got into an argument with one of my really good friends who about public land versus private land and how much work like private landowners put in for deer hunting versus how much work public land hunters put in, right? Like so many people run cameras and food plots and habitat restoration on private, and then it's like their work is all done ahead of time, and like a public land hunter does their work kind of at the rear end, right? It's hanging hunts, it's hiking miles and miles, getting into tough spots, and it was kind of relatable to your guys' conversation about how would this thing change, and I think going to hunt some more public land when I did that years back, it really kind of changed my mind and really just enjoyed it more. I didn't know what was there. And like Eric said, it's like whatever comes up and whatever I want to pick my bull up on, I did, versus some of this rhetoric that we know drives the hunting industry. So just wanted your guys' opinion on that. So
No, I agree. I mean, like you said, it's a pleasant surprise. Oh, there's a deer, and if it happens to have antlers, great. Is it when I want to shoot? In the moment, it might be. Maybe you look at it a couple times and go, "No, I don't want to shoot that one. I feel that there's bigger ones out here." But to your point, it is nice to almost not know what's there. I mean, a couple of the deer that I've killed in the past, I never ran cameras in some of those spots, and it was a pleasant surprise.
Mhm.
Oh, there's a 130-inch 8-pointer. Oh, it stopped right there, and I killed it. Great. And then the last 9-pointer I got, never knew that deer was in there. Talked to a couple guys that ran cameras in there. One guy sent me a picture of it. He knew it was in there. It wasn't a deer he wanted to shoot. But that deer came walking in and I got it. And it was great. As that was a tough year.
Adam, what was your question again specifically?
I was more of a comment, I guess. Like how, the big buck rhetoric, that we know that you guys are trying to promote, more of a positive deal, and how it relates to public land hunters and private land hunters, and the mentality that, especially running trail cameras, is like, my one buddy gets so fired up when it hits the rut because he has all these big bucks on camera, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, this guy shot this deer. Oh, we were trying to let that go. Or, oh, this guy, my dad was chasing this deer and the neighbor with 10 acres shot it. It's like, we're all chasing wild animals, right?
Right.
Whether you're on public or private or whatever. And that's what I obviously like about you guys, is promoting, that just, it's that positive thing about hunting in general. But
Sure.
it was along your lines of,
No, that's good. I was
what would happen?
Yeah, I was asking because I was trying to. I had a
If
thought.
it
I had a
didn't
thought
exist.
queued up, and I was like, "Shit, what was I going to say?" So I needed you to repeat it so I could remember what I was going to say. And Doug Duran talked about this on our show. He talked about the gentrification of like a certain area where out of state people or out of like county people were buying land, making it private, so there's no more access for public. Yada yada yada. One of the things he talked about too is like he wasn't taking up a problem necessarily with like the shirt that BHA has that says public land owner, but there's something to be said about people that are accessing public land versus people that are doing stuff on private land. Like you talk about the amount of work that goes into it, front end versus back end. If it's your land, think about like going to a party versus hosting a party. When you go to someone else's
There's
party,
so much more work
you're
that
like,
goes into hosting
that
it.
fell on the floor. I don't care. I pissed on the toilet seat. Whoops. I'm not saying I've done these things. I'm just saying in general, the demeanor is different. Like,
You might have.
not my house, not my problem, not my stuff. I don't got to worry about it. Versus if it's yours, like there's no litter on your property. It's yours. You're proud of it. You're taking care of it. You're picking up stuff. You're treating it very differently. So like public landowner, sure, it is imbuing some sense of pride, but there's public lands that are trashed because they're being accessed and not cared
all
for
are.
as if they're your own. So like there's definitely something there also. That maybe not to your point. But there's nuances to all this stuff. It's like crossbow versus trad bow versus compound bow versus rifle versus shotgun versus iron sights versus not versus private versus public versus like blind, no blind. There's so many ways to stack against ego to make it harder. And I would just say, like, what are we supposed to do? Go back to spear hunting? Because let's bring ethics into the conversation. The guy shooting a
trust me,
crossbow
there's
is
people
going to be
that do spear hunt, and they really catch it on the chin for
they
doing
do.
it.
But like if I'm going to shoot a crossbow, the ethics of it are going to be far more in my favor. That animal is going to probably get killed a lot more ethically than if that same guy that never gets to shoot ever doesn't have the time to practice with a compound, but he's doing it because he wants that badge of honor, rather than just going out and like lobbing an arrow out of a crossbow at the fastest speed you possibly can after rifling his shoulder and pulling the trigger. It's dead. It's good to go. In contrast to, like, should that same person use a trad bow? Probably not. Are you more badass if you can do it? Maybe. But then you also have to put the time and dedication into it too. So there's just scales here to all this stuff. It all kind of evens out. But as long as we're all outside enjoying nature and having a good time, like that's the reward. And the bonus is the meat.
Absolutely.
I don't
Well,
know.
yeah, we got to do it together. I mean, that's the whole deal about it, right? And
Right.
I don't know. I mean, the whole thing about just getting back to enjoying it, right? I mean, yeah, it's nice to kill mature deer, and if that's your goal, go for it.
Not to
We
knock
all know
that either,
right?
because
Like, if that's your goal. Fine.
people knock that too. People
Yeah,
like,
that's
oh,
fine.
you got a big one. Lucky you. Must be nice to have private land. Must be nice to chill out. That's not like, you don't know what that person did to
No.
earn the income to get that land, to put in the work they did to put, like, that's a whole different ball game.
Being a private landowner is it's costly. Costly in your time, costly in your money financially. There's more to it than that. So if they're killing a 180-inch deer or a 150-inch deer every year off that, you got to darn well believe that they stuck a lot of time and money and effort into it.
Mm-hmm.
No matter how big the acreage is in it, they had to pay for it.
Yeah.
And they got to pay the taxes on it.
Yep. No, good comment, Adam. Where are you driving? You driving back from Montana?
Yeah, Montana, going up to Lake Superior right now to chase fish. I'm hunting for fish.
There you
Hunting
go.
for fishes.
Get some trail cams in those waters, man. Figure out where those fish are bedding.
Yeah, figure out where the booner trout are at.
The lunker.
All right, Jen. I appreciate it. Yeah, keep up the good work.
Thanks for calling in, Adam.
Have a good one, bud.
Hey, yeah, have a good night. Bye.
I'm gonna put trail cams out for some bunnies. I
Are
want to
ya?
see where the bunny brush
You got to put them
piles
low.
are.
You got to put them like ankle
Real
high.
low. People are like, why is that trail cam
Or you
on
could
the,
put them high
on the
and aim
trunk
them
of that
down.
tree? Yeah, you could. Let's do some bunny trail cams.
I've got a lot of rabbit footage.
Good. Let's go kill some rabbits. I want to make rabbit stew. I want to try it out. I've never had it. You know, when I was a kid, I had a pet bunny, and his name was Domino, and he looked like a wild rabbit. That was his coloration.
Mm-hmm.
My dad and I built a cage for him, and he had like a little ramp that went down so he could go in and out. And inside the big cage was a little cage with hay so he could be warm. But he could freely come in and out of that thing. He had a little harness. He was a little chain to the peg in the ground.
Oh.
And he was a free range little bunny in our yard. I had him for a while, and a stray dog came by and snapped his neck and killed him.
Ate Domino like pizza.
I was really sad about it. It was I would call my dad and be like, how's Domino? Like, I was really obsessed with my pet bunny, you know? And so as a kid, I couldn't possibly imagine ever hunting, killing, eating a bunny. So to this day, they still have a bit of a soft spot in my heart, but I've heard really good things about how good rabbit tastes and how well it cooks and how easy they are to skin and all that stuff.
As a kid, I ate a lot of rabbit, and it was like eating chicken. It was always thrown in some sort of barbecue sauce or in with chicken noodle soup. It went in and never knew the difference. It was good. It was
How many bunnies
edible.
do you got? I'm saying bunnies because I don't know why, but how many?
3 a day.
No. How many do you need to cook a good meal? Like it's like,
I mean, honestly,
it's like
a limit,
right? Like
a limit of rabbits. Yeah, it's once you break it down, it's about like having a couple pound chicken.
Would you ever do a rotisserie rabbit?
There's no skin on it. You know, when rabbits are built to be clean and eaten by humans. I mean, they're so easy. The skin tears off. It's not like a chicken where you pluck the chicken and keep the skin on to hold all the juices in. With a rabbit, that's more of a braise and roast type of deal.
Braise and roast.
Mm-hmm.
What is braising exactly?
It's kind of like a boiling almost, frying with a little bit of liquid.
So like roasting it, you're putting it in some sort of shallow pan, putting
Yeah.
some liquids in there, maybe some soup, some cream of mushroom or whatever,
Yeah,
putting it in the oven.
There's a bunch of different ways.
Put in there 350
You really want
for an hour?
You want to dive down the rabbit hole of rabbits?
Yeah, I do.
Go check out that Hank Shaw cookbook. I think it's
Duck Moose.
Duck Moose or Buck Moose or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
Duck.
I don't have it, but there's some good recipes in that one. I know we talked about doing a rabbit hunt, and rabbit season's about. I think it might be closed by now. I'm not positive.
I did a rabbit hunt and it didn't go well. We didn't see a single rabbit. The snow was too deep or something was going on. We couldn't get them to come out of the brush piles. They were there. You could see the tracks going in and stuff. We rattle on everything, jumping on shit, moving stuff around. Nothing happened, which is fine. I probably would have been a pretty terrible shot. Bunnies are pretty quick, and every time we do clay shoots, I can never shoot the rabbit clays.
They're fun.
They're just skipping across the ground, and I totally shit the bed on it. Cody Jenkins asked how the Iowa show was. Talked about that in the beginning a little bit, but it was good. It was fun. It was good to see people. Iowa is the land of giants. The whole damn state is a food plot. I think someone said it. It may have been Derek that said that.
Yeah, it's a lot of grain.
Yeah, I met some cool people. It was good to talk to folks and see everybody. And A lot of work, a lot of sleep deprivation, a lot of standing. My back is still sore. I'm 37 officially. My birthday was on Friday,
Yep.
so
Yep.
waking up at 2 on my birthday to drive from 2:30 in the morning to whenever the hell we got there. I think we got there around like 10ish. I want to say.
You guys had a stopping or two in there.
Yeah, we stopped a couple times. Tyler brought his dogs. The dogs were there, so we just stopped and let them out, take a leak. We stopped, took a leak, got some
Gotta
gas
keep
station food and all that.
sustenance and
I
caffeine.
ate like crap, man, the whole time.
That's easy to do. Convenience eating is not good for the body.
No, I had a good lunch today, and I feel a little bit better. It was a long time of eating trash food, so I feel much better. Backwoods Grind Coffee was there.
Yeah.
It was good to see those guys in person. They were one of our first ever partners on the podcast long ago, and they were selling their coffee, and well, they were selling bags of it, and then they were giving out samples, so they kept us pretty caffeinated, which was nice.
That's cool.
Saw Steph Lane, she was there.
Mhm.
Saw Jessica Ann, she was there. Evan Masters was there. Randall Eric was there. I'm trying to think of who else stopped by. Vince was there with Antler Feather Co. Yeah, just a number of people. Hey, I see you guys on TikTok. See you guys on Instagram. See you guys on YouTube. One guy came up to us, Christian, with X Media Outdoors YouTube channel. Came by and talked to us for a while. Said, "Good to see you." He's a pretty cool dude. He had some really cool hunting stories to share with us. Like
Neat.
really cool hunting stories to share with us. Actually, it's pretty
And
wild.
that's what it's all about, is sharing stories and camaraderie and just seeing people putting faces to names and hearing their voice and actually meeting them in person. It's always a nice thing.
Yeah, it was. I'm drawing blanks. Like we did encounter, like we had at least over 100 orders. So just that's at least 100 people we talked to.
Wow.
So I'm probably forgetting somebody in all of that because we talked to so many people and I didn't talk to everybody that, Tyler talked to or that Derek talked to and vice versa. So we all talked to different people or some of the same, but it was, we met some young fellows there too that were just getting into it, that
young up and
it was
comers.
cool to talk to them. And, Derek being an art teacher in high school, he was really, he had a really easy time talking to the high school dudes that were coming by the booth and stuff. And he had his big buck there with him, the 170 that he got in Illinois. He just got it back. That was nerve-wracking traveling with that. I was afraid he was going to break his new buck on our trip.
I came out and he had it pitched into my front yard, like right on the sidewalk of my front yard. I'm like, I don't think I would have thrown it there, but
he was like, well, it's not like I know a guy that can do antler repair.
Yeah,
so there's that.
He's quite good at that.
He wasn't overly concerned, but I'm like, yeah, well, I hope you'd rather not do that. And Derek, he got a lot of confidence on the artwork. He, for my birthday, said he'll draw my buck on the turkey feather that the buck blood trail went over.
Very cool.
That was kind of cool. I don't know when he'll have time to do that, but I think that'd be a neat thing to have on display in like a vertical frame or something like that.
Yeah, it'll look nice.
Special. That's a pretty neat thing. Yeah, so he does commission artwork if anyone's interested to give that guy more to do with his life. He's not that he needs it.
No,
he's super busy.
He's busy. Wife, kids, doing artwork, art teacher, trying to hunt. He's a hunting maniac.
Yeah. So what else is on the agenda for you then? You're getting ready for Florida fishing. What about turkey? Then you're going to switch gears and get into turkey mode or what?
Yeah, I'll get out and shoot my gun probably right after I get back from Florida. Otherwise, I'm trying to get out and do a little more scouting. Matt and I are going to try and get out and do some trout fishing here. Hopefully this weekend. We'll see how that goes.
What, on the Great Lake?
Yeah,
Rivers?
we were talking about it, but with the east wind, we just had a big east blow, and it carries warm water in, but it also carries real muddy water in. It makes everything real cloudy, and the fishing's kind of tougher that way. So I don't think we're gonna fish there. We might hit one of the tributaries or something, or we might totally do something different. The rivers out by me are extremely swollen with all the rain that we got, and I mean they're flooded up into the farm fields. So walleye fishing could be tough, or it could be good. It's one of those things where if you know where you can get on a bite, maybe where there's some flooded timber, walleyes will go in there because the water will be warmer. I don't know. We'll see what we do. Maybe we won't do anything. Maybe we'll just be podcasting and talking to people this weekend instead.
Okay, sounds
find out.
Calder just commented, said that he First of all, great listen. Thanks. He got his first shotgun. He went with a 20 gauge.
Nice.
So that's exciting.
Yep.
Buying firearms is always an exciting thing. You get pretty attached to them. The rifle that I got, my Remington 700 30-06, I bought that used back when Gander Outdoors was Gander Mountain before they got acquired by the Prophet.
Mhm.
And that was a pretty big moment for me. That was a lot of money as a young man to spend,
Yeah.
even on a used rifle. And I thought my dad had given me a shotgun to use, and it's still at his house. It's a 20 gauge or 12 gauge pump action. It's huge, very tall gun, unnaturally tall. And when I bought my rifle, I was like, oh yeah, this is mine, and I can shoot far. And it was pretty damn exciting. Just even like the bolt on that thing is so pretty with that
It's
like,
all jeweled.
yeah, I love
Yeah.
it, man. So I got pretty attached to it. And I still have it, and hopefully one day I can give it to one of my 3 kids or all of them. I don't know. They can share it or something. So at some point I'll be excited to buy another one.
Right.
But he said hoping to pass it to my daughter someday. Yeah, that'd be great. And David Norakowski said that's a super trophy as long as legal by your state and site regs. It's a shooter. Yeah, 100%. It's good stuff. Well, I think that was a good episode. I don't know. Felt pretty low key. Felt pretty
It
chill.
was
We
pretty
covered
low
some-
key. There wasn't a whole lot of shenanigans, so we disappointed on the shenanigans side.
I just
But
assumed with a title like that we'd have shenanigans.
yeah, that's why you got to keep it bland, and then there will be shenanigans.
I was just trying to get back into my groove down here because we had missed a week, which we don't miss, but more than like 3 to 4 weeks a year.
Yeah.
And usually it's because of holidays. This trade show really knocked me on my ass. There was so much to do
So
to prep for it.
we got the Dells.
So I guess some housekeeping items and some announcements. So I was done. Well, thank you for everyone that came by and saw us, and that was great. The Wisconsin Dells are next. It's going to be at the Kalahari. We're booth 1604, I think. If you're not subscribed to our email list, you can go to our website and you can subscribe. There's a way to do that on the bottom of the site, or there'll be a pop-up. You can do it there. We send a lot of one email a week, usually podcast recap, general, updates, what's going on with us. So the show information will be on the email blast if you want to subscribe there. But we got a 10 by 20 booth. I think we're going to have our gun sleeves, which are, if you're watching on camera, you can see them a little bit on screen here by Greg behind him there. We got buffalo plaid, gun sleeve, gun sock, whatever you want to call it. So, if you wanted to have kind of case your weapon, your rifle, your shotgun, it has moisture wicking properties and it's pretty elastic. So you can even fit a nice, with a big scope on there, you can still fit your rifle in there. So we didn't have them in Iowa because they're not done in time. I think we're gonna have them for the Dells. I'm supposed to get my buck back from the taxidermist also. So excited to get that back. So hopefully I'll be bringing that. Derek won't be there. Greg won't be there. It'll be me, Tyler, and Matt Strime, who runs up the OKS Fisher podcast with Greg, and also is the guy that hand spun our grunt tubes. So it'll be 3 of us there. Come by, say hi, cheers. If you're in the Wisconsin area, if you're looking for a reason to go to the Dells, it'd be a lot of fun things to do there, but we'll be there, so it'll be kind of cool. Beyond that, stay tuned to our YouTube page. We got 2 more episodes dropping later this week. We got a continuation of Derek's hunt. We aired his recovery, but there's more to the story there, so you can dive deeper on that one. And then there'll be more of my weird shit going around town leading up to when I finally killed mine. So yeah, hopefully everyone's been enjoying the season 1. We'll see how it goes. There's more to come, obviously, and Greg's got scouting videos he's going to put out. We're going to see those pretty soon. Derek's been doing them. So we've been putting in a good effort on the YouTube side. Check it out. We got, I don't know, I feel like I'm probably missing some stuff, but there's definitely a lot going on. It feels like a lot.
What about past the Dells? I mean, are we looking at Foam Fest again?
Yeah, so I won't touch Foam Fest until after the Dells. That's how we did it last year.
Sure.
I need to get the stuff behind me.
Okay.
To be able to focus on the next thing. But after the Dells, after the end of, so it's the last weekend of March. It's the 24th to the 26th for the Dells. Once we're done with that and I kind of like level set, we'll switch gears and start getting the Foam Fest planning. So we're lining up some sponsors for that event. It likely will be a Saturday and then sleep over into Sunday is how I want to do it. So you can camp on site is what I'm planning for here. There'll be kid activities. We're going to try to get the DNR involved with some youth stuff. So getting kids to shoot bows, do shed hunting again, shoot the course, have some games, even for little kids, like sensory bins like we did last year and all that jazz, coloring books. If it's raining or whatever, they can go inside. We're going to be giving away 2 bear archery bows. We have 2 RTHs ready to hunt bows. We have 1 pink for any female bow hunters or 3D target hunters, and we got 1 of the Fred Bear camo. So we'll be giving away 2 bows again this year, and a bunch of other stuff too. So we're working through that a little bit now. We did it at Horkin Marsh Bowman, and I suspect we'll do it there again. So
you better get on that right away.
We're members there now, and so like I don't foresee it being any particular issue, but we're planning it ahead of time. Last time we pulled it off inside of a month, and that was very stressful because
by the skin of our teeth.
Yeah, this year we're going to start planning with those folks in March.
That'd be
for
good.
an August it'll be the last week of August if we can.
What about Deerfest? Did you happen to see that it's moved to Oshkosh
now? Did it just move, or is it in addition to?
No, it moved, and it's in July.
Interesting. I don't have interest in doing that one. I don't think it, timing wise, it's just tough. Every time we try to do something, I got to fight against, not fight against, it sounds bad, but I have to sacrifice time with my family.
Sure.
So we're doing enough stuff as it is. And working a full-time job makes it kind of tricky. So I'd love to do more. I think, what I'd rather do is try to find something to do in Michigan next year.
Yep.
And see if we can get that because it's close-ish. As long as we can stay in the Midwest here and Wisconsin, I think we'll be good. We're not going to go out to Pennsylvania anytime soon. It's pretty tricky for us as a up and coming brand and startup. So I don't know what we'll do first. There's the Mobile Hunters Expo. We're considering that. That's July, I believe.
Where's that? That's in Michigan.
So I would like to get into Michigan at some point. That might be a fun way to do it, but we don't have a lot to offer the mobile hunting space necessarily, other than we would just be a brand that people maybe know there. But we're all mobile hunters, so I think we have somewhat of a place to be there. And some of our partners are going to be there. Latitude will be there, and a couple others probably. So
sure.
That's all I can think of for now.
All right.
That's all I can think. What about you? Are you anything else?
Nope.
Fisher Boy?
Mm-mm.
Go check out the OK Fisher podcast. You want to hear Greg some more?
Thanks.
He's like, fuck you, Eric. Oh, I swore. There goes the explicit warning.
There it is.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll play some music here, and you guys have a good night, a good day, good whatever.